Welcome to Moody's Mixer. With prostate cancer, no fear necessary. Good afternoon. It's October already, and this year is almost over. And I hope you're having a good year, and I hope things are going well for you. And I want to welcome you to Wondering with Prostate Cancer, No Fear Necessary. And, I got some things I want to kind of throw out there today. And, I've been at this Wondering with Prostate Cancer now a little over a year. And in that time, and even in my years prior to my diagnosis, I've always kind of tried to take care of my body, take care of my life and what went in it. And, I still end up with prostate cancer. So, what does it matter what we eat and all those things? And it does matter. As I've said in the past, I ran my body in the ground. I tried to eat as good as I could, and but I just ran it in the ground. Just did too much going on in my life. And I want to kind of help today. I want to throw some things out there today that I think will help you. Maybe if you're struggling with dieting and kind of with your health, I want to throw some things out there today. So, and some of these things may seem hard, it may seem impossible, and why am I talking about it? Because I'm living it. And what does it really take for us to change and to be satisfied or happy where we are with our health? And so I'm going to kind of talk from that perspective, but I'm going to give you some tools today also. I've had some calls, people saying, "Hey, can you help me, get my weight under control, or can you help me get my cholesterol down? Get me off, these prescribed drugs, that the doctors are prescribing for me. What can I do?" And one of the things I'm gonna come out and first say, if you're on, drugs or medications, you need to make sure you consult with your physician. And you may get some opposition. I'm just going to point that out immediately. You may get some opposition because, you know, they kind of have a protocol of what they want us to be and how we should look, and what's supposed to happen with our life, and they want us to go down a particular trail. And one of the things in my life, I've had the pleasure of being an expert witness, in court, being deposed by, the opposition attorneys. And, it's funny, we throw this word around, expert, this person's the expert and that person's qualified. And one of the things that I found in my life is how we get disqualified, or people don't want to listen, or even though we may be telling the truth and it may make sense and it can be correct, but inevitably they want to disqualify us because they just don't want to listen, don't want to change, or just don't want to believe it because it means that they have to do some things differently. We have to do some things differently. So how does that work with diet and our life? People may come up to you, ask you, advice for something, and you give them that advice, and they may say, well, such and such didn't have to do that. And I've spoken on this before. How many times we get asked questions, and when we tell them our process or our methods, 9 times out of 10, well, such and such didn't have to do that. People are always trying to disqualify you, but not so much disqualify you as it is disqualify themselves. Are you one of those that have always disqualified yourself? And is that some of the reason maybe you struggle, with your health, with your diet? Because you're constantly disqualifying what you're trying to achieve. And I kind of look at it sometimes as, maybe taking the easy way out. Just saying, well, I can't because of such and such. As I say, we come up with excuses why we can't make these changes. So what does that look like? Being an expert witness, one of the things that happens is you have to turn in your resume. Opposing counsel looks at it, and what they try to do is try to disqualify you. And especially after you've been deposed or you get on the witness stand, what they want to try to do is just discredit your testimony. And one of the things, as a CPA, that gives me credentials, but what also allows me to be an expert witness are my qualifications or my experience. Because see, you can be an expert witness and not be a CPA if it's, especially dealing in finance. I've done some construction cases and real estate cases where I've been an expert witness. So I have extensive experience in construction. If you heard my financial series, or even this series, I talk about construction a lot because it's a process. You follow systems, you follow a schedule. And this health thing is kind of the same thing. I'm on a real strict, I won't call it strict, I'm on a real dedicated schedule. And, I do 13 juices a day. I got so many, supplements that I take. I got, my schedule from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., it's pretty structured. Within that, I get some work in here and there, but my main focus is scheduling my treatment. And I forgot to turn my air conditioning off and I hear it, but hopefully it's not bothering you guys too much. I apologize, and I don't have my remote. But anyway, so, you get the structure and you get these qualifications. So I remember being deposed one time and giving my testimony. And, what we hope, is maybe we don't even have to go to court. And, a lot of times they wait to the last minute to come up with a settlement, because sometimes in the deposition, they realize that we don't want to get this guy here on the stand. His testimony or his look on this could damage our case, and we can lose even more if we get this guy on the stand. So let's leave this guy off. And it's because of my knowledge of the information. Yes, I have CPA and CVA behind my name, but my experience is what gives me the power, that expert that maybe they don't want to hear. And so I kind of want to talk to you about health, and not that I'm an expert in health. I don't want to say that, I'm not a doctor, but I have experienced some things. And at the age of 60, I've gone through a lot. My body has gone through a lot. And I know where my body is now. So I think I'm qualified to kind of talk on this. And I've helped people in my lifetime to get through some of their health challenges and diet, challenges. So I want to help those that maybe are struggling. And, maybe you've been on 4 or 5 diets and, it's just like, I can't break it. You hear people saying, I've been on a diet and, I go right back. And I understand that. So I kind of want to maybe break some strongholds, break some things to get you through, to get you over so you don't have to look back. And I posted some pictures of my back, not because I want to show you my back, but I'm not looking back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back to the health I was even a year and a half ago. And even though, my health, to many and myself, I thought was really, right on point. I've been a world-class masters athlete, for almost 20 years. So I kept myself in shape. So, but, as an expert witness, sometimes, your testimony, just won't even get you on the stand. And when we talk to our physicians sometime, even our friends and family, what they want to do is disqualify us. And a lot of time we can get disqualified because we don't know, we don't understand. So I want to kind of, over these next few weeks, is give you some information so you can be qualified, or more than anything, have the confidence to stand firm on the changes or the lifestyle that you're choosing to live by now, to get your body or your health in shape, to get you off the medication and the drugs that you're on. One of the things, we talk about, junkies and drug addicts. When we say that, we look at guys and women on the street, maybe using illegal drugs. But are we any different when we use prescription drugs? Yeah, they help us. Yeah, my blood pressure came down. And are we running from something in the street, trying to hide and run from pain? Well, we know people get hooked on painkillers. We hear some more, they're hooked on prescription drugs. And I just kind of want to bring these together. And I'm not, trying to pass any judgment on any of them, and especially those in the street. And I think, that's kind of the point I want to make. We want to talk about those who are on heroin and cocaine and marijuana and all these things. We want to call them drug addicts. But is it any different when it's prescribed? Well, we say it's different because, hey, it's helping my cholesterol, my blood pressure, my diabetes and stuff like that. But are we dependent on those things? And do we have to be? Well, what are the guys in the street? What are they on drugs for? What are they running from? Maybe pain of life. And what do we do when, we get faced with medical challenges? Do we just run to the physician and say, man, just prescribe it and, I can keep going? Are we willing to fight for our life and for our health? And again, I understand, medication is there to help us, but does it hinder us sometimes? And so I kind of want to just shake you up a little bit and say, do you want to make that change? Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Where are you from a health perspective, from a physical perspective, and more than anything, from a mental perspective? Because through this whole thing, especially this last year and a half, this mental fight is just, if I could say it, I say this is not an explicit show. It's a mind screw. And I know what the word that we've used in the past. When we say, man, this is, and it really is. The mental part of this is so important, and that's to get through it, whether anything that we're on. And it's not just medication; it could just be food. Can we walk away from things that we know that are hurting our bodies? And we may look in the mirror and how we just said, you know what, I'm comfortable with where I am. Are we really being truthful to ourselves? Are we willing to put the work in? So I've gone through some things in my life, from a medical perspective, my health. I've had broken bones, I've had other things that have gone on that, I've had to have surgery and some other things, and I try to get off, any medications or painkillers immediately. Normally when I leave the hospital, from a surgery, they prescribe me some Lortabs or, the Oxycontin. I may go get it filled, but usually I don't take them. I don't want to get hooked. Maybe I'm afraid of that. Maybe because I know I've been addicted to other things in my life and I don't need anything else. So maybe, I have a motivation to maybe do some things maybe a little different. And even this health, I'm motivated to beat cancer. So what's your motivation to maybe get your health the way you want it? And the first thing is to, let's be honest where we are and what we want to do with our health. Okay? And again, check with your doctor. But I want to kind of talk, and I'm going to give you some things, to kind of look at. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to share my screen real quick. And as I get ready to share my screen, what I'm also going to do, I'm going to go get my remote so I can turn this air conditioning off. And I hope everybody can see this BMI table. And I'm going to just walk away for a minute. So excuse me. I apologize, but just need to walk away for a minute. Back. Sorry about that. But maybe the AC was bothering me more than was bothering you. Maybe the sound's a lot better now. These headphones pick up everything. But what I hope you see is a body mass index. And I remember looking at this years ago. Even when I was running and, doing well. And I realized that, man, maybe a little overweight. And some of these numbers just seem impossible. It's like, there's no way that I can get to this weight. How? But you can. You can. And so I'm going to post this on my website at CoreyMoody.podbean.com. You can also write me um, at Corey M at moodybennettcpa.com, and I'd be glad to send you this. But you can just go online. I mean, they got body mass index, everything's out there online. It's just a regular BMI body index. So, where I am, and this is in inches, I'm right at 71 inches, and between 70 and 71. And actually, I grew a little bit after high school and in college a little bit, about an inch and a half, actually. But right now, I'm at 145 pounds. The pictures I posted is 145 pounds. And one of the reasons I wanted to show that, because a lot of times people think when you get to these weights, you're skin and bones. And I think if you look at those pictures, I got some muscle mass and some definition. So I'm not just, looking, anorexic or, just like, there's nothing there. And that's 145 pounds. And I was typically walking around them between 170 and 175, kind of comfortably, not doing anything and being told I look good. And, 175 actually, that has me, a little on the overweight side, kind of on the high end. I just believe in these charts, we kind of need to be in the middle of these charts, even when we look at our blood work and stuff. So I want you to go get your body mass. I want you to see where your weight is. And don't say you can't do it, it's impossible. Okay? The other thing I want you to do is to get a tape, one of those yellow tapes. And then what I want you to do is to start measuring yourself. Measure your neck, your head, your biceps, your chest, your waist, your hips, your thighs, your calves. Measure everything. Because one of the things you'll find out is losing weight or losing inches can be opposite. You can lose inches and not maybe lose weight because, muscle weighs more than fat. So this way you got kind of have two indicators that's helping you through this process. And I remember, reading and listening and researching diet stuff, pretty much my whole life. And, people are always trying to say, never look at a scale, it's kind of like looking at a clock. If you look at a clock all day, time just never goes. And it's like if you're always looking at a scale, you just never, you never lose weight. Well, I think it's the opposite. I probably weigh myself 3-4 times a day, especially when I was really trying to cut weight when I was running, because I wanted to see how things affected my body. When I ate this, when I exercised, what were the ebb and flows of my weight? So when you start understanding what works, what's not working, you know what to keep doing or start doing or stop doing. So I just think it's kind of important to look at your weight, look at your inches. See, I believe in indicators. One of the things in my profession, we look at what we call KPIs, key performance indicators. We're always looking at indicators just telling us how well we're doing or how bad we're doing. And diet and our lifestyle is no different. You can get too many indicators and get confused. But most of the time, it's not too many indicators as it is not understanding what those indicators are telling us and listening to the naysayers. Because just as much as people love us, but when we start making changes to the better, they always say you don't have to do this. One of the things, I stopped drinking alcohol completely. And I remember someone came to me and said, "Oh man, come on, it's this day or it's that day." I said, "It's always going to be a day." So if I do it for this day, what's going to prevent me from doing it from the next day? So we just got to say no to things that we know we don't want to do. It's Christmas, so you can do this you can eat this today. And what happens, everything becomes the exception than the rule. And we want everything to be the rule. And so let's just do it right. So we just gotta stay away. And again, people always gonna tell us, hey, you can do this. And that's because they don't want to do it. And then when you start doing those things, it puts them under, some guilt sometime. Because they may have said it and, will tell you, well, I did this, well, I didn't have to do this. So that's why I say you got to be careful of getting disqualified. So today, I really want us to mentally kind of get prepared. So, go pull down a BMI chart. Okay. And the other thing I guess I went to show, and I guess I'm going to pull up. Do I have it up? I don't have it up anymore. But on this chart, this BMI. So also online, it tells you what your BMI index is. And see, you want your index to be around 21, 20, 21, 22. Just say right here in the middle. Let's say, the median. Not the mean, but the median. The median is going to be right in the middle. Okay? So there are things that help you calculate those. Don't be afraid of it. Okay. And then we'll start, talking about things we can do, from a dietary perspective. My number one thing in my arsenal is juicing. So I want to talk just a little bit about juicing because I do, 10 to 13 glasses a day. And it's just three different juices I do. I do a green juice, which has lettuce, romaine lettuce. I use a red cabbage. I use beet tops. I use green pepper. I use an apple. And I thought a green pepper would make it just undrinkable. But it tastes good. Now there's some other things you can use, and I'll have that list posted. Very few, but one of the things that on my plan is not to substitute celery or spinach. So we have to find out what works. I think I kind of talked last week that avocados and berries and cucumbers are not good for me because they overwork my digestive system. And I'm not, I'm trying to save my enzymes, to fight the cancer. But for weight loss, and you don't have a cancer or fighting a chronic disease or something, maybe you can probably do those things just to get the weight off. But as you start understanding your makeup of your body, remember when I kind of started talking, get your comprehensive blood panel. I kind of started this by everybody find out where you are from a health perspective. For men, get your PSA. And then everyone, get your comprehensive blood panel. Kind of find out where you are with all the other things in your life. Okay? So that's what we always want to make sure, where are we in our life? What makes us different than the next person that they can eat this, I can't, or vice versa. Even though we can read about it and it says it's good. So we're going to really start fine tuning it for your individual body. The main thing today is you can and you will if you want to. And I need your help to get me through what I'm going through. And I want to be there to help you get through whatever you're going through. So we're going to go through this together to try to make sense over everything. And understand we're going to have loved ones to tell us it's all right to do this. I read this, I read that. And you got to understand this for yourself. One of the things, I can kind of tell, we got to push away the sweets and the sugars, the fried foods, just, what I found out in this journey, everything that I was eating really was a comfort food. Our body only needs nutrition. And that's why I juice so much, because I'm just living off nutrition. And I posted those pictures, because I'm 145 pounds. People say, man, he's skin and bones. I want you to see that I have some definition still. I'm not skin and bones. So you don't have to look like people try to make you believe that you're going to look if you just change your lifestyle. Okay? So you're going to be your own expert witness with your health. So my doctors, they help me understand, if it's something I don't know or I need some explanation, hopefully they can explain it to me. But I do understand what I need to do for my health. See, what I've learned on this journey, and I look back on prior visits, most physicians want us to follow their protocol for their practice. I was talking to someone a couple of weeks ago, and they was trying to lead me down a treatment path. And what we have to be aware of, that a lot of times, and they mean well, they want to lead us down a path of treatment, not cure and not getting healthy. But do we put that on ourselves? Do we say, you know what, just go ahead and treat me and I'll just live that way? And you know what? There's really nothing wrong with that. I want to keep eating all this and I don't want to change. I'm going to take, my insulin and all that so I can keep eating my sweets and all that. That's your choice. But if you understand the side effects, or if you're saying, I really don't want to do that and you don't think you have a choice, what I want to do, what this is really about, is to let those know that there are options out here if you choose to. And if you don't, it's okay. But I would still recommend get your weight and some of your other things under control so the medication can work better, or they can reduce the dosage. If they reduce the dosage, it can reduce the side effects. But do we even do that? Do we just keep piling it on and knowing, hey, I can just go to my doctor and take a pill? And is that what we've kind of done even with dieting? I know it's a billion-dollar industry. This pill, that pill. And it's just a matter of us getting it under control ourselves. And no matter which way we go, get your power back for your health. Our bodies are the temple. Okay, so I want you to go pull down a BMI index. Okay, put it on your refrigerator. Maybe you got some other things up there, but put that BMI index up there. Okay, and this is for weight, so you can see where you are on that weight for the BMI index. Okay, see where you are. And if you're in the good range, hey, keep on rolling. But if you're on medication and you want to get off it, let's see what we can do to maybe get you off medication if you want to. Because it is a lifestyle change. It's a decision we have to make individually. And it can be tough. This is not easy. But it's not as hard as it appears to be. And sometimes we make it harder because we don't understand. If I would have known what my indicators were telling me years ago, I may not be here talking, and I may not even have cancer. So you say, Corey, you got cancer and you talking all this. What happened to you? I didn't know everything. I didn't know certain things that I needed to know, that my indicators were there. It was telling me that you don't watch this. And that's why you just can't look at your weight. You got quote unquote skinny people unhealthy. You got people that are overweight that are more healthy. Healthy. But weight in itself, we know, is bad, even just for your joints. And if you're saying all your indicators are in great line, they line up, the indicators are good. And if you're not on any medications, hey, keep going. But if you want to just, look different, then let's get the weight off. But if you're saying your indicators are good, but you're on drugs or medication, are you really being honest with yourself? And is that where you want to be? And it's nothing wrong. I'm just talking to those that have called me and say, I want to get off of this. Okay? So, because it's not easy. It's not easy. So, again, get your list, get the BMI, get all those things that will help you find out where you are for your health. Okay? Measure yourself. Get a scale. You gotta start recording it. Now, there's some great apps that are out there. Okay? And most of the things I'm going to show you are manual stuff. And I use a lot of the apps. But I want us to kind of understand it, so I'm going to show it to you manually. I remember when my girls were in school, and I've got to turn that back on. And excuse me. And they were taking math. And then I remember that they were using calculators. And I was like, what y'all doing using calculators? It's like, oh yeah, we can use calculators for everything now. And I'm like, what? So I'm just old school that you learn how to do math problems manually, then you go to the calculator. But they say, hey, it works. They learn just as much, if not more. But I've seen people get stuck because they couldn't figure their way out. And see, that's when you really become an expert. My brother used to tell me, a lot of us can hang sheetrock and maybe even tape and mud. But when we got those sharp corners and have to cut these things out and cut it out backwards, to get it to fit, your measurements are upside down. That's a little different. See, that's where the experience comes in. And so that's why I want to make sure we understand that these things that we do, be an expert with our own body. And we use doctors and reading materials to kind of help us through. Okay? So I want to encourage you to start becoming an expert of your own body. It's okay. And I want us to be able to converse together to get each other through it, because we're going to get opposition saying what you don't have to do. Or this person did it, they didn't have to do that. To kind of disqualify you. Or to say it's okay. And you live under the exception as the rule. Before you know it, you're doing the same old thing. Okay, so let's work together. And I want you to go out to my podcast out to CoreyMoody.podbean.com. I got videos and attachments there. I want you to listen to me on Facebook, which is some of you are also live on YouTube. And listen on Wednesday, I do a financial series with the Renaissance Fellowship with D. Edward Cheney. And it's a little different than this. But I know that the indicators for your health are there if you want them. And it's mental. They say so many things we do are mental. And I've come to see that it's even more in our life. That is so mental. So let's walk through this together. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And, I'm going to keep motivating you on to lose your weight. And, send me something and let me know what's going on so I could, we can talk about it. I won't mention your name. We can keep it anonymous. And what I'll do is start having you, sign in, so, you can have the comments and kind of see what's going on. And maybe we can help each other. Because I need the help too. This is not easy. I can tell you that. This is a struggle. This is a struggle. But it's good though. I'm as happy, I'm as free as I've been in my whole life. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I just want to pass it on. And if I can help, please let me know. So, BMI chart. Do your measurements. And when we come back next week, we're going to expand on it. I'm going to give you some dietary and nutrition things. Even some recipes of things to eat and cook. So, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and good night.